Hello, I'm Tommy Moore from the Bartitsu Lab, and in this video I'm going to be looking at one of my favourite punches for self-defence, which I call the Tighty Righty. Now, hitting with your right hand is instinctive. I say right hand, your power hand is instinctive, it's natural, it's intuitive. Whilst there are many benefits for striking with open-handed or open-handed style, such as edge-of-hand techniques, punching people can be very, very effective. It's very, very natural, and when people are angry, this tends to manifest. So we might as well harness the power and benefit and do it well. So the Tighty Righty, what is it? Well, for me, the Tighty Righty is, if we're looking at combat sports, if we're looking at kind of, say, more consensual violence, so not even combat sports, but more consensual violence, being able to fire a longer range, picture perfect rear hand is brilliant and marvellous, and you get a fuckload of power behind it. It's scientific, it's strategic, it's a beautiful shot, it's a beautiful thing. The problem is that in your pad work, your mitt work, your bag work, your sparring, some of your drills, you can get over-reliant on being able to fire a bomb at this idealised range. Boom, boom. The problem is that most non-consensual violence, actual violence, happens much, much closer. So a tool that may be your go-to is no longer operational in its normal form here. But how can we take all of the benefits, utility, naturalistic movement of the power hand shot? How do we contract that range? And so for me, the Tighty Righty is somewhere between a straight and a hook. At this kind of range, which I call in my classes awkward, normal, awkward. You know if you stand next to a person, even if they're your friend, this is awkward unless context defines that's okay. So if you're in a loud nightclub, this might not be awkward, this might be normal, but this is otherwise an unnatural distance for people to be at and communicate. In any instance, the Tighty Righty for me is somewhere between a straight, which I cannot really biomechanically pull off at this range. It's awkward for me to get that kind of shot. But also in this instance, I don't want to be doing my hook. I can, and I love hooks, and they're brilliant and marvellous, and I've got tons of videos about doing them. But in this instance, I want to throw something in between the two, a hybridised shot, which I call the Tighty Righty. So, for me, at least, it's orientated on making sure I use my hips, my feet, my shoulders, and that instead of my weight coming round with torque, say like a hook, it's coming down. I want to knock him to the deck. Knocking him down is a brilliant outcome, and knocking him out is a brilliant outcome. So if I can combine those two things, my intention being to knock him out and down, safer for him, we don't have a prolonged fight. Safer for me, I can get gone. It's a good shot. So Tighty Righty from here, hush, hush, hush. My body weight comes down. I'm exaggerating some of the motion here. Hush, hush, hush. But as you'll notice, it's not quite a hook, it's not quite following a circular pattern, it's not quite straight, it's not going in a linear fashion, it's somewhere betwixt the two, the Tighty Righty. So, how can we develop this? Because it's a powerful shot, it's an important shot, it's an instinctive shot, and we need to get used to doing it in a range that makes sense. So, easy drills to start with. A lot of people watching this are experienced practicing martial artists, so I don't need to beat around the bush too much. So, in easy couple of drills, we'll be making sure that you practice them from attachments. And there's a couple of different attachments you should try. So the first is a simple lapel attachment, okay? And you would have achieved this in any number of ways. It could be that the grapple has already commenced. It could be that your fence has compressed into a grapple. There's any number of reasons or rationales as to why you might have ended up like this. So whether you've come to a crash and you've grabbed a bit of jacket, whether it's been forced upon you, you've got this here. So again, we're in this awkward range. I'm just drilling the Tighty Righty from here. Is an important shot. Then, as you've got that, practice unbalancing in displacement as you do that. So for example, I may wish to pull and do my Tighty Righty. So pulling him onto the shot. I may wish to post and do my Tighty Righty. I don't want to push him too far away, and that will be hard for me to pull off. But I do potentially want to make just an inch more space to pull that shot off. So I might want him an inch closer or an inch further away. But again, easy drills to be looking at from an attachment. Same side. You've also got this from a cross grip scenario. I like a cross grip because anything that comes from his right hand now can get easily smothered or eaten by my shoulder. So if he's trying to punch my face off, it's going to be hard for him to pull it off. I can use my forearm or my elbow to really grind into his face, percussively, bang, or just as a grind. But either way, from this cross grip, and again, all of the aspects of my Tighty Righty can be drilled. Pull, hump, 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 push, hump, hump, hump. Simples. Yeah. You've got all manner of other types, so round the back. So if he's got a hoodie, you can grab the hoodie, you grab the meat of the back of the jacket, and again, now we end up a bit more side on, bang, and I can still land that shot, so we could end up in this kind of situation. I grab the meat of the jacket, I might bunch it up, so another useful thing is to bunch a bit of shoulder fabric and a bit of back fabric. That then creates a type of pin. You know, it's not going to hold forever, but it's going to make it awkward for him to use this hand if I gather the jacket fabric and the back fabric. So from here, again, tuck in my chin, lower my eyes, and then when I wish to fire the Tighty Righty, I've got enough space. I come out of my foxhole, fire the shot back into my foxhole. I want to spend as little time as possible here, where I can eat shots. I'm here, I'm moving, I'm wrestling, I'm pinning this arm. I might decide that percussive techniques are what is necessary here. Tighty Righty, bang, can come straight out. Nice and simple. Other manifestations for the Tighty Righty, you can't drill this enough because it's a very, very, very important technique. Other situation you might find yourself in is via an arm grapple. So an arm grapple, I'm not going to treat this too scientifically, but where opponents are grabbing and pulling and pushing both arms at the same time. And if you've come to a crash between two humans, that can happen a lot. So he's trying to grab me, I'm trying to grab him, and we end up in this here, where we're pulling and pushing on each other's arms, neither of us really having much dominance here. Again, standard operating procedures apply. If you're in a grapple, your first concerns are your balance more than your striking, so make sure you've got some base to you, make sure you've got some stability, that your legs are far enough apart, that you're not easily being taken down. That's order of business number one. But let's say you're in this prolonged arm grapple, and again, you can start to drill your Tighty Righty from here, and this could be on the bicep, it could be on the forearms, it could be on the wrists, you know, there's any number of places that this could be on, and you're really fucking ragging each other. You know, don't treat this as static, you are ragging and pulling and pushing each other. At any one juncture, however, if you feel the shots there, from this position, you can then fire your Tighty Righty in. Now you can either fire that in and do other stuff, or you can fire that in and then regain your position monitoring these arms. Yeah. So going from an arm-based grapple, where he's grabbing and pulling my arms and I'm grabbing and pulling his, you might wish to just spontaneously let go, bang, and fire the Tighty Righty, boom, into here. Or you may wish to manufacture it, in which case you can either pull on the opposite arm, pull and hit, so I'm pulling here, or I may wish to post and push his arm back. If you imagine, it's not going to manifest itself so well on this bob because it's an empty sleeve, but on a real human arm, grabbing those arms, you push that arm away, that tends to roll the shoulder, then you can fire the Tighty Righty. But anyway, from the arm grapple, get used to those moments of opportunity, keeping your balance, fire that shine, then come back to monitoring the arm, if you wish. Here, back to monitoring the arm, get the arm back. You may decide to throw two, bang, bang, back to monitoring the arm. Easy drills to play with, intuitive drills to play with. That's from an arm grapple, being able to either consciously manipulate, so pull, push, drag the other arm, fire the shot, or just spontaneously get this on. Remember to monitor. Okay, other stuff that may manifest. Overhooks. So you may get to a position where you've got one or more overhooks. So in this instance, let's assume I've got one. Let's imagine we've crashed and I've got his left in an overhook here. Now I want to cinch this in tight. I want to pin this to my body. Yep, and I want to be driving my body weight forward. I want to be reducing the gaps into him. If you're going to grapple, fucking grapple. Yeah, don't fanny about, don't try and grapple something out here. If you're grappling, you've got it here. There's a couple of things you can do. Again, you might find yourself in a bit of a stalemate here. You might not be big enough, strong enough, skilled enough to pull something off in a grappling context here. You may not wish to. So if I've got one overhook, if it's a jacketed situation, I may decide I'm going to extend my range just so you can see. So you've got an overhook and a jacket grab. This is a really robust way to hold a human being. You can do quite a lot of good stuff here. Pinning that right hand, grabbing the jacket across. So I've got an overhook and a jacket grip, and I'm driving my pressure into him, lowering my body weight, lowering my base, using my head. As I've got this overhook, I then may wish to find my Tighty Righty. So how can I do that? Again, I can pop up simply, bang. So get used to this. And again, get back in your foxhole, bang, back in the foxhole, bang, back in the foxhole. It could be that you wish to provide some kind of jam or whizzer on this arm. This is harder to pull off than you expect, but entirely possible. So again, from the overhook position, I may turn my body violently this way to crank that arm to give me a little bit more room, bang, to fire that Tighty Righty. So I could hold it, pop out my foxhole and fire, or I can wrench and fire. Okay? Easy ways to deploy it from the overhook. But don't just stay here and hit. If you're going to hit, make sure you do so from a position of safety. I've got control, I'm stable and willing and able to grapple from here, but then I can use this as a platform to burst up from the legs and fire that Tighty Righty right into the jaw, or I can whizzer this arm across and do the same thing. So really, really, really important stuff. One that doesn't require much time and explanation because it's so obvious, it's so ubiquitous, is doing this from some type of fence. So again, this may be, and there's many, many different types of fence, and some of them depend on the type of person you are and the type of job you might be in. So for example, if you're a bouncer, if you're a police officer, you might have an entirely different way of standing, of projecting your authority, of using your body language compared to a teacher, a paramedic, someone like that. The camera's just going a bit out of focus, so I'll allow it to find my shiny bald head again, follow the shiny bald head, and here I am. Fuck it, you'll be able to get the gist. Right, so a couple of iterations from the fence. First one is a centralized fence. Nice and easy. We maintain the hands in a natural format somewhere on the center line. And nice and easy, and we can drill this. I'm not going to go over fence theory because if you're watching this, you probably know it, and if you don't know it, go find out. I've got videos on it, many people do. So I'm just looking at drills here, so practicing your Tighty Righty from a centralized fence. Bring that closer and closer, so start here, get really close. Nice and simple. So centralized fence, I could go from monitoring that center line, talking, ending up relatively close, boom, boom, being able to fire the Tighty Righty from there. The benefits of the center line one is I've got good control. If he compresses me, if he comes forward, I've got a good ability to stabilize him, to do something, to put my fingers in his eyes, to stop that advance because I'm in the center of mass, which gives me good control. So a centralized fence format is good for that. What it's bad for is that he knows where both of my hands are. And so he knows where my defenses are. You might not think, it's not going to be a logical thought process. He's not going to actively think it, but it's intuitive, it's instinctive. My hands are here. Even if you're thick as pig shit, you understand that a circular shot, a hook or a looping straight can clock me. So that's one thing I need to be aware of. Nothing is going to come down the pipe because my hands are here. It's going to be hard for him to headbutt, even here, because my hand is here. So if he starts to move his head, I can just fire that tighty righty straight in. Boom! Nice and simple. But attacks can come around the side, so you need to be cognizant of that. You need to be aware of that. You want to make sure that your chin's dropped, all that kind of stuff. Nice and simple. You may also decide to deploy a different type of fence, and there are many. I'm just doing some examples. That's a centralized version, very close, and in the middle distance. You may wish to decide to use a more open one. And benefits of a more open one: it's less threatening, it's a bit more natural. When people speak, this body language is open, it's reasonable, it's responsive. And what it also is doing is monitoring his left and his right hands. So if my hands are monitoring where his biceps are, I've got an easy way to stop stuff if it's coming in. I say easy, it's more convenient for me than potentially being here. So again, I could be here, I could be monitoring both hands. Now I've got a risk, now I've left something open. Every door being closed leaves another door open. It's just a fact of life. So when my hands are here, the headbutt's neutralised, straight punches are neutralised, but hooking ones aren't. When my hands are here, hooking punches are neutralised, straight punches are neutralised, but the head is able to do its work. So again, you just want to make sure that your chin is tucked and that you're ready to drop that head if you need to. In any case, we're just working the tighty righty in this instance. So we're monitoring the biceps, we're monitoring where they are, and then we can develop the short range power from here. So again, we can fire our tighty righty from this particular range. All the while monitoring these, because this could at any juncture come into a grab, a stab, a punch, or anything in between. So again, we're at close range, we're in awkward. Here, in this instance, my fence is monitoring the outside hand. And these are moving, these are talking, these are gesturing, these are being non-suspicious, but you're still keeping some defense of your perimeter. But I'm essentially man-marking the hands. My chin's tucked. I'm still communicating, because if he's not struck me, there's still a chance for me to de-escalate this. And I can't emphasize that enough, that it's never too late. It's too late. So I could still be trying to diffuse here, and I might still successfully diffuse. But if not, I've used that marking here, bang. So from a traditional fence to a more abstract open fence, then you've got things like Jack Benny, you've got all manner of different types of fence approaches. But for me, for drilling purposes, this center level fence and this outer level fence is a really good way to practice the tighty righty. Another thing you'll want to practice is the tighty righty from your hands being occupied. You forget how much of your general day is spent with stuff in your hands. So, for example, bang, 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 bang on your door at night. You might not be 100% suspicious about what that door knocking is. You might have walked up there with the remote control, the TV controller, in your hands. You've got something in your hand, and then you realise there's a threat coming into or near the door. It may well be that you're walking around and you're holding your phone. Boom! Threat's on. It could be that I'm at the pub, the bar, the club, and I'm holding a pint glass. Could be any number of things. Yeah, but your hands can be typically occupied. I've gone to the cash machine, I've got money out, wallet's in my hand. Working from a position where your dominant hand has something in it. This is a really important drill to have. So I've got something in my dominant hand because I'm a human and I'm living a normal life and I'm not perfect and I'm not a fucking commando, so I don't walk around everywhere in condition yellow, just a normal dude. So normal people do shit with their hands. Get over it. So get used to practicing your tighty righty from a position where your hand might be occupied. Now it may well be, there's a couple of things you should do here. One, get used to being able to drill it, so I release the item and hit. BOOM! So I can immediately, without thinking, fuck, I need to put this down, move this, throw this, the minimum level of interruption, just smash the cunt. Smash him. So if you've got an object which you can't hit him with, if you have an object that you can hit him with, perfect. So if you've got a mobile phone, TV controller in your hand, bam, you smash him with it. But if you don't, you need to get used to the notion of, I've got something in my hand, a wallet, keys, bottle, whatever, something that's not necessarily conducive to this type of shot. Get used to drilling, being able to fire your Tighty Righty from there. It's a really important natural drill because it takes into account that you are human and you'll be doing normal human stuff lightly when or if you get attacked. So mobile phones, keys, wallets, children's toys, pint glasses, bottles, shopping bags, things in your hand, and get used to being able to, in a close range, have that in your hand, fire that Tighty Righty. Very, very, very important thing to do. You may also decide to work a shoulder stop. So in this instance, with my left hand, I might stop that shoulder. So I might put that push, dig into the shoulder just to turn him a little, boom, and then fire the Tighty Righty over the top. But in either instance, whether stuff's in your hand, whether from a clothing grab, cross grab, pulling, pushing, whether it's from an arm grapple, bang, bang, whether it's from an overhook, bang, or bang, whether it's from a fence, boom, or boom, whether it's from having your hands occupied with items, boom, 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 on your phone, boom. All of these drills are very important because odds are you will rely on and trust and depend on the power of your strong, dominant hand, and instinctively, despite most of the martial stuff you'll have ever done, instinctively the monkey in your brain will say, just twat the cunt. So you might as well develop the best just twat the cunt possible from a range which is realistic to where people are. And practice this, mid-ish realistic range, getting closer, getting closer. Understand the operational viability, boom, of your Tighty Righty. Work on generating that short range power, because for self-defense, you're going to need a lot more of this than you're going to need of this. This is great, lovely, sports, ring, consensual one-on-one, stupid male violence outside of a pub. Yes, normal ambush assault level violence. You need to be able to work in that kind of shot with power, with authority at that range. So working your Tighty Righty, you can never spend enough time doing it. And obviously once you've landed that, it's not just a shot in isolation. One is none and two is one. So you've always got to assume some rate of failure. You've got to understand that failure happens. So you can't just practice, boom, job done. You need to understand that this may unlock this, which may unlock this, may unlock any number of things. Stupid example, but you get the idea that once you've fired that Tighty Righty, there's other stuff you can then do. Once you've done that, understand that you'll have likely knocked him down, or hobbled him a little bit down, or moved him back somewhat. So you might go Tighty Righty, something a bit longer. So for example, a forearm shot. So getting used to what effect does my Tighty Righty have. In this instance, I've gone from an arm grapple, wrestling, pulling, I'm going to fire a Tighty Righty, and then with that space follow up with something more ballistic. From here, so I've monitored, I've fired the Tighty Righty, bang, and then I've used that forearm shot onto the jaw, onto the neck. So understand that this is a key and it can unlock stuff. So the short, sharp, ballistic power of your Tighty Righty might allow you to open up slaps, forearm shots, edge of hand blows, knees, headbutts, better grapples. So just because you've struck doesn't mean you've abandoned the grapple. It may well be that I've got here, but it's just too even. Bang! I fired that shot in. That might be the thing that allows me to get this overhook, allow me to do other stuff. So I may use the Tighty Righty to unlock the greater gold that's out there or available to you. So in summary, practice your short range dominant hand striking. Practice it from a position of grabs and proximity that makes sense. Practice doing small things like pulling and pushing to open the opportunity. Practice it from non-traditional grappling, from standard instinctive human grappling of the arms, and also then with a more honed edge with things like underhooks and overhooks. understand how it works preemptively from the fence and the benefits that the Tighty Righty has in different aspects of fence work. And understand that your hands can very often be occupied when you're going about your daily business, so get used to and able to and be comfortable with going from I've got my phone, my bottle, my keys, my wallet, I can fire in that shot easily. Easy, simple drills. You cannot spend enough time doing these. They are very, very important. If you don't like close fist punching, you can substitute all of these with a palm heel strike, but just to give you some things to play with. So the Tighty Righty, give it a practice, give it a whirl. It's very important.